From a modest hidden mountain retreat to a booming city, Colorado Springs' growth is skyrocketing and it's catching everyone's attention. What used to be a humble place to visit has now become one of the most desirable places to live. And even still, big changes are on the horizon. So what's next for Colorado Springs? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about some groundbreaking projects, some visionary initiatives, the demolition of a century-old icon, and even some controversial projects that keep our residents on edge here in the Springs. Now imagine a city evolving right before your eyes with high-rise offices, residential transformations, and the birth of a landmark amphitheater. It seems pretty wild yet intimidating as well for a lot of locals at the same time. We're just not used to all of this growth and it's causing some discomfort for a lot of people that live here. Let's start with some major developments happening in Colorado Springs. Now these projects are making room for a new era of growth and innovation. Let's talk about Banning Lewis. This is a master plan community that is growing so fast on the east side of the Springs. If you're not sure exactly what a master plan community is, don't worry. We'll get into that later in the video. But it's not just a master plan community, it's also Colorado's largest private builder. This super popular community is full of activities and things to do, and it offers plenty of character and charm through the style of the way that these homes are built. Now also imagine an area so vast that it can change the entire shape of Colorado Springs, and that's exactly what's happening with Banning Lewis Ranch. Now it stretches all the way from the northeast part of town down to the south part of Colorado Springs. It's almost the entire length. It's pretty crazy. Now this isn't just any development, it's a revolution in urban living, and there are rumors and talks of this community branching into a city or district of its own entirely. So it basically covers practically the full length of Colorado Springs running north to south. And this 24,000 acre project will definitely redefine Colorado Springs. This developer, called Oakwood Homes, is looking to amend the initial proposal because the original plan is outdated, and the residents have started a petition actually because they're worried about how it could change the neighborhood. Banning Lewis is popular for its tight-knit community and amenities, making it the perfect place to live where roots run deep and where families grow. And that's listed on their website, and they promise to build a community for families to develop and grow and plant. But the residents are basically worried about how overbuilding and overcrowding will affect the neighborhood, and who can blame them? They're not the only neighborhood that's worried about this. There's another community towards the middle of Colorado Springs that we'll get to later in this video. But back to Banning Lewis. It currently remains a small community where neighbors know each other and a lot of the kids go to school together. And they're popular for their farmers markets, their food truck days, community concerts and events, even fireworks in July. And that's really what's making this neighborhood in Colorado Springs so incredible. But that's the point of the master plan community. And if you're not exactly sure what a master plan community is, or an MPC, what it's commonly referred to, it's basically a huge neighborhood with an active lifestyle in mind. It's like this self-contained community with recreational things to do like swimming, parks, playgrounds, tennis courts, golf courses, and a ton of other little activities like at the clubhouse. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there is a gym. It's kind of small. I have a full video about Banning Lewis, so I'll link that in the description. We won't go too deep in this video, but it's such a big part of our community and what's happening here in the Springs. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can watch the pros and cons of Banning Lewis. But as we change gears, we're going to talk about more of what's coming to downtown Colorado Springs. But before we do, my name is Iris if this is your first time here, and I help people buy and sell real estate in Colorado. So if you ever need help buying, selling, building, or investing, please feel free to reach out, and you can check the video links for more helpful information. Also, don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this. Now let's talk about transformation in our skyline. Downtown Colorado Springs is set to undergo a complete metamorphosis thanks to some visionary developers. Now these high-rise buildings aren't just structures, but they're symbols of of a city reaching new heights. There's so much growth and there's so much change happening here. I'm hoping that these high-rise buildings don't clutter our mountain views because that is what we're known for. Being able to see Pikes Peak from anywhere in the Springs is what makes us special. And I went downtown and I went to the area where they're going to be building, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit further south. And so it's not going to obstruct the views too terribly. Where these buildings are going to sit, it isn't like a big deal. I just hope that people don't continue to make these big, high, tall buildings and they start inching in closer and closer to the center part of downtown. And then it becomes just a bunch of buildings and we can't see the mountains unless you live on the west side of downtown. Even though we might have a modest skyline now, we're fine keeping it that way, especially when we start seeing part of our skyline disappear, like the Martin Drake Power Plant, which is a huge power plant here in the Springs and kind of signifies how one part of the city is basically closing its chapters while Colorado Springs is continuing to grow in this new direction, symbolism for what's about to take place here. Now let's talk Norwood Development. They're a group and they're a developer that have this ambitious project. So they're building a 12-story, 194,000 square foot office building called 30 West, which is a pretty cool name. It is on the northeast corner of Cimarron and Sawatch. But guys, this isn't just a building, it's a statement. Like, they're going to have a rooftop lounge, a fitness center, and a golf simulator. And 30 West is positioned to become a magnet for top employers and a lighthouse for the city's workforce. So I imagine this to be a highly desirable location to either come and stay, work, play. They kind of want it to be a place where work and lifestyle blend. So more and more of these buildings are popping up downtown and it's changing who we are as a city. A lot of people are quite upset about how things are changing like this because with more population, of course, brings more crime and unfortunately more homelessness as things become to get more and more expensive. There's a couple of other development partners who are also proposing a high-rise luxury apartment building. They're wanting to do 36 stories with 497 apartments. This is going to be the tallest building in Colorado Springs, changing our city's horizon forever. This innovative vertical community is going to be a symbol of urban elegance, and I'm not sure if the Springs is ready for it, honestly. We've still got a lot of old-fashioned people that live here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this going to force even more locals out of Colorado Springs? One thing that makes all these changes surreal is the shutting down of a century-old landmark. It almost feels like we're closing a chapter of our history and stepping into something completely different. It's been part of our skyline for over 100 years. These tall stacks are going to be missed in Colorado Springs, and what will come soon is to be determined with environmental studies in mind. They might be building a park or a cultural center or who knows, but they do have to make sure that it is safe. They're going to have to test the dirt, I'm sure, to make sure that it's a livable place before they start building on top of it. But more is to come to downtown Colorado Springs. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you can get all of the details moving forward. Now, let's talk about Space Force. A lot of people are really excited about this because the future of space exploration and defense is coming right to our backyard. Now, this isn't just any military branch. It's super special because it's the first new military service since the Air Force was created in 1947. So Space Force represents a bold acknowledgement of the increasing importance of space in both national defense and everyday life. Now, we're talking satellite communications, GPS navigation, and things like that. So this is a dawn of a new era with military operations and space capabilities. But I'm thinking about those videos of the UFOs and the UAPs where the military airmen are fighting these unknown objects in the skies. And I mean, I don't know what you guys believe. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but as more and more of this stuff comes out, it's pretty crazy. Like, it's hard to continue to deny. I mean, do you guys believe in that stuff? But the fact that they're changing their name to Space Force and the fact that it's become such a big deal, it'll be interesting to see like what else comes out. Obviously, a lot of things have been leaked and I don't want to get into all of those conspiracy theories, but I do find it pretty interesting and deeper than maybe what we see on the surface. So anyway, so many people know why Space Force comes to Colorado Springs, but for those who don't know, the Springs is already a nerve center for military space operations. And with the Space Force, its role becomes even more pivotal. So we're looking at Colorado Springs as a hub of military space innovation, attracting some of the brightest minds in space tech and strategy. So I'm really proud of our city to become that hub. We've always had NORAD. We've always had that military presence inside of the mountain, which I think is pretty neat. But the establishment of having Space Force in Colorado isn't just a military affair, it is a boost to our economy too. So we're talking new jobs, increased investment in technology, and an elevated profile for the city on the national and international stage. So we're really being put on the map here. The Space Force initiative promises to bring both economic and technological growth here. And this is why I'm constantly saying that our real estate market is hot and the values of property are probably going to go up. And I feel bad saying that, but at the same time, if you own property in Colorado Springs and you feel like you overpaid, I think that it is comforting to know that our city is going to be valued in this way for the foreseeable future. So the prices, they might level off a little bit, but as we grow, I honestly don't see prices coming down much because not just our nature and how beautiful here it is in Colorado Springs, but now we've got this on top of it too. And hopefully it doesn't ruin our city. I'm really hoping that it grows and becomes a high profile city. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not an economist. That's just based on my opinion, based on the market research and expertise keeping an eye on the market over the last several, probably almost 10 years. So earlier, I briefly touched on some drama regarding residents in certain neighborhoods. Well, there has been some spirited discussion on the north side of Colorado Springs in an area known as Briargate. You've probably heard of it. There's a Portland developer called DBG Properties who proposed the Royal Pines apartments for working families looking for affordable housing. Now, they're thinking 3 4-story buildings with a clubhouse, but the main concern was safety. In the event that there was a fire, those evacuations, it would be pure chaos. Like, there's just not enough space for people to leave the area in the event that something like that or crazy happened, right? So they took their concerns to the city, but the city still passed, and it looks like we're going to be moving forward with that. Now, the average rent in the neighborhood hovered around $1,700 per month at the time of this video, and could go all the way up to $2,100 a month for some 3 bedrooms. But with Royal Pines, that would change the rent to about $1,000 to about $1,400. And the city council supported the project based on the need for affordable housing in Colorado Springs. So crazy how so many people think that building this way reduces neighborhood values, but people are hungry for affordable housing that's safe for their kids, especially when a lot of them are being relocated here for work. And it's one thing to have to move your entire family, but you just want somewhere safe for your kids to be able to play and meet new friends. The need is there, and hopefully everything works out. There are so many other things contributing to the rise of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and we definitely couldn't end this video without talking about the Colorado Springs Airport. So they're going to be expanding the passenger terminal from 12 to 24 gates. So that's like twice as many gates, which could cost between $75 million all the way up to $125 million over the next 20 years. There will also be enhancements to ticketing and baggage claim areas. Now, I always did think that it was a little cramped in there, but it wasn't busy enough to justify cleaning that space up. But I think that the Springs Airport is really nice as it is. But obviously, if they're going to be doubling the gates, then we probably do need some updated ticketing and baggage claim areas. But the airport is planning a major renovation of the passenger terminal to improve capacity and update those facilities. So this is a pretty hefty project, and they're also thinking of relocating the control tower so that they have better visibility. Now, that's a big deal, especially because we do get that crazy weather and visibility in during, rain and snow and things like that. There's so much more to this story of the evolution of the Springs, and it's actually just getting started. So to learn more, you're going to want to check out the video that's popping up next on the screen on some other big changes coming soon. So you don't want to miss it. Make sure you click that video and watch it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.